JT, what's going on in the world of baseball?
Ooh, baseball. Well, as we discussed last week, um, the rule changes are in effect,
Hmm.
um, and with that, uh, pitchers are taking advantage, and they are taking
Okay.
advantage in a crazy way. Not crazy way, but they're pushing the limits of these rule changes, especially the pitch clock. So, say especially with the rule change, batters need to be in the box and facing the pitcher at 8 seconds.
Hmm.
Max Scherzer in particular has been the one who has been like the most like killer of that 8 seconds. Because
Okay.
you think from a pitcher standpoint, they need to look at me at 8 seconds. I can go on 8 seconds and I can hurry
Yeah.
them up. So I
Hmm.
mean, the rule change made for faster, play, less power in the hands of the pitchers. But if the pitchers are not caring about their rituals or whatever, they're just going. They still have the power because you grab that ball back. As soon as you have that ball back, the 12 seconds or 15 seconds starts, and then you're on the rubber. You're waiting on the batter. Batter looks at you, you go. And then if the batter doesn't look at you until 8, you go on 8 anyway. And then if you want to mess with them even more, they look at you at 8 and you hold it. You hold for those 8 seconds. And you make the batter step off and waste his, step off appearance or step off rule or whatever. And so the all the power is still with the pitchers. And so we've got some little clips here. Max Scherzer, who I was just talking about, had a double play wiped from him because he did the pitch clock violation on his part. So a double play turned into just a ball. So you hate to
Oh.
see that, but you know, even he wasn't too aggressive that at bat. He was taking his time a little bit, as you saw there. 0 seconds came up, and he hadn't released it yet. You don't need to release it. Actually, I should specify. You just need to have your leg lift up. So as soon as your leg lifts up and you go to deliver the ball before 0 seconds, that's what counts. So if you really
Okay.
wanted to, as a pitcher, you could lift your leg and hold it there for 4 seconds if you wanted to. Even though the clock says zero, you could, as long as you lift that leg up, you could hold it. You could hold it for like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, as long as you want, and then you can
Oh.
go to the plate. I don't think anyone would do that, but I mean, some of those guys who just don't have a windup and they just go from they just go anyway. They could do it if they really wanted to mess with somebody. But yeah, so it's really interesting. Most of the players, if not like all, have been like interviewed because that's what spring training is really for. Players get mic'd up as they're playing the game, and they have these great interviews with the commentators, and they're all for the rule changes. They love the pitch clock. It's going to be an adjustment, obviously, and things might need to get tweaked here or there. Like people are wondering how it's going to be in like late games, like how big of a factor is it going to be? People want it just off, like ninth inning, just off, just turn it off. It doesn't matter. Like you've played the rest of the game at a nice pace, especially if it's a close game. Because I mean, in a game where the Red Sox and the Braves played, I think it was like one of the very first games. In spring training, you don't go into extra innings; you just tie. Um, and the game ended on a pitch clock violation. It just ended like that, and people were just like,
Oh.
"Really?" Like they were mad, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's the beginning of the rules. Like the umps are gonna be on it. They have to be in
Hmm.
order to enforce the rules and get players to adhere by them. You can't level off. You can't back off from that right now. Into the season, you'll probably see umps be a little bit more lenient with the rules. 'Cause, I mean, a 12-second pitch clock was already a thing. It was in the rules, but just umpires never they just didn't enforce it. So we'll probably see the same thing going into the season, especially hopefully if the umpires don't get a power trip or whatever, they'll just they'll just let the game play out or something like that. But here's also an interesting one: an entire half of an inning with pitch clock versus one pitch without the pitch clock. So I mean that just shows you the pace that the game is being played at right now, where this whole half inning was done with the pitch clock versus just one pitch before the pitch clock era. And so like that's amazing. And I think that's just going to do so much for the game. I mean, just look at them on the right, just standing there, just chilling, just looking back. The batter's taking him out of his rhythm, whatever. And meanwhile, on the left, they're going, they're gone, and that's what I love to see personally. So, like I said, I'm a fan of this, and I mean, people who aren't a fan of it, just it's not going anywhere. Honestly, it's not. I mean, it's been talked about for years now, and they're finally implementing it. It's been proven to work in the minor leagues too. So I mean, like the minor leagues have been playing with this for the past couple of years, if not just last season, and it works. Game times were cut down significantly from an average of like 3 hours, 5 minutes to 2.5 hours, and so that's an extra 30 minutes that you're not playing, you're not standing, you're in the air back home, you're at the hotel room laying down, you're relaxing and recuperating. So that's how it goes, and I think it's here to stay, and it's good that it stays. So honestly, but with that, I mean, spring training hasn't really done much. I mean, there's been some crazy games, like the Red Sox beat the Phillies 15-3 the other day or last week, and that game was like 3 hours just because so many runs were being scored, obviously. So like you're gonna have your games that still go 3 hours just because there's a whole bunch of offense or whatever. So the 3 hour game is still going to be a thing, and this is all. It's just going to even out better. So, but breaking news, actually, I just pulled this up now, pretty much now. Red Sox player Justin Turner gets hit in the head, and he immediately goes down. I believe it said that he was rushed to the hospital, maybe. But I mean, yeah, just look at this pitch. He just wham, just right in the face. And I mean, you hate to see that. I mean, that could be something that's said against the pitch clock. If a pitcher's having a bad day and they're just not in their rhythm and they're being hurried up by the pitch clock, you could see this. You could see this happen. And I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope that, I mean, this would happen without the pitch clock too. I mean, I'm not going to solely blame on the pitch clock, but people would, and people do. So, hopefully Turner, hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he passes all tests and whatnot. But that's the sort of dangerous thing with the pace of play. Like there's gonna be more errors on both sides of the field. There's gonna be more fielding errors because maybe they're not ready for the pitch yet. There's going to be more batting errors because they're not ready for the pitch. There's going to be more wild pitches that might result in injury. And I mean, with repetitions and pitchers just getting more used to this, hopefully this doesn't happen. But and this is a thing of baseball that is an unfortunate incident that happens all the time. And I mean, all you can see him spitting out blood there. It's not a good look. This is a terrible, terrible look. No one wants to see this. But other than that, I mean, that's really the only breaking news that I have that happened right now. But yeah, so I mean, Major League Baseball season starts at the end of this month. We're in the month now that Major League Baseball officially starts. So that's exciting. It's exciting. Highlander, have you been watching any baseball? Have you been?
I've not watched any of the training.
Right.
But definitely looking forward to watching and checking it out during the start of the season because I do like the fact that it is faster paced now.
Yep.
And yeah, to go on from what you said about like how pitchers might be making mistakes and other players gonna make some mistakes probably from it is for the first year of it being implicated. It there's gonna be rough patches.
Oh yeah.
Because again, it's something new to every single player that's played the sport before.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel by mid-season, it should be looking a lot smoother. You won't even know that these players haven't been doing this for years.
Right, for sure. And I mean, talking about those younger pitchers who have been coming up through the minors who have been playing with this. I'm just wondering how it's going to develop their game, and because they're coming in, they've already done this. They've already done this for a season or more.
These young rookie pitchers could be.
They know.
They could be the go-to guys because they're going to be the most experienced with it. They're going to be quick to it.
Right. I just think it's going to further increase their development, because I mean
Mhm.
they've already had the experience, like I said, and so I'm interested to see how that plays out. Um, how these younger pitchers come in and take advantage of a new system for a lot of guys and ones that they're very familiar with. So it's exciting to see because a lot of new pitchers come in and they don't really have great seasons. This is how it works, but hopefully they are able to make a splash with knowing the rules and knowing how to game the system a little bit. I think it's going to be a very quick turnaround with the pros because they're pros for a reason, and they're going to learn from the young guys, which is an interesting an interesting sentiment as well. Older guys learning from the young guys, teaching an old dog a new trick, so to say. Um, but yeah, um, last week I promised you guys I would have an AL team for you in the World Series, and I do. So I already said Padres are my pick for the World
Forgot
Series
about
this
I
year.
forgot about that
I already said
cliffhanger.
that. Yeah, can't forget about the cliffhanger I did, totally on purpose, and definitely not because I just didn't know what I was doing. Um, but as much as I don't want to say it, I see the Yankees in the World Series this year.
Oh,
They're just good, and I mean Aaron Judge coming off of his great, great season last year. I mean, if he continues that, then I mean we're looking at the same Yankee team pretty much. I mean, if anything, like their pitching maybe got a little stronger too, which is just even worse. So, I mean, there's that. But I was also very down on the Red Sox last week, saying that we will finish the bottom of our division, and I still think that's possible. But
I don't see that.
watching the spring training games and hearing, how Cora sees the team and seeing more people that we got. Like I mean, Turner's one. We got Ken Jansen, closer, amazing closer. Hopefully he can stay amazing because the Red Sox kind of had their way with him a couple years ago in the World Series. So hopefully we don't get that Kenley Jansen, but hopefully we get the lights out Kenley Jansen this season because we've had closing pitcher problems for the past couple of years now, ever since we lost Craig Kimbrell, and even after Craig Kimbrell was still not great for us. So having a guy we can go to who's like a tried and true closing pitcher. So I mean, there's that. I could see the Orioles finishing bottom of the AL East instead of Boston, but that still leaves Boston just one ahead of the Orioles. So
See, I don't see it for the fact that Boston right now is undefeated in training,
they
in
are, but
spring
that's
training.
that's just spring training too. I mean, people
Yeah,
aren't
but at
taking
the
it
same time,
seriously. They're
I
just
just
kind of
don't
pushing the
see.
boundaries. I would love it for us to
I
make
just
a better run than what I say we're going to, but I don't see it with the changes. And I mean, I see you're pulling it up here, so I'll switch over to you here.
because I'm trying to like in my head here, like
Yep, yep,
fully, why is it? Oh, it's only in spring training. That's why there's
yeah. Only on
no.
spring training. Yeah,
Because I was trying to see who's all in Boston's division. I know it's Boston,
yep.
Toronto,
Boston,
Yankees.
Toronto, Yankees, Rays, Orioles.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's gonna be Yankees, Toronto, Boston, Tampa, and Orioles. I see it being like that.
Yeah,
I don't I I don't see Boston finishing the bottom two of that division. I just don't. I mean, Boston is one of those organizations that they strive for excellence.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like Boston is one of those organizations that you'll never see bottom of like the barrel ever.
That's
And if you
true.
do, if you do, there's going to be a new owner because whoever the owner is at that time has gone too far and has lost his mind or something.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to find the power rankings that I saw the other day. Um, maybe it's here. Maybe it's here. Nope. Anyway, and I mean the reason why I say that the Red Sox are bottom is because pretty much every single person has the AL East like in the top, like not seeing as Boston. I'm pretty sure Boston was like ranked 21st or 22nd in the power rankings, and then the Orioles were at 16, and then everyone else was like 9 through 1, and so like that's why I was having such a problem last week with the AL, because if you look at the power rankings that I saw, I'm pretty sure like 7 out of the top 9 in that power ranking was from the AL side of things. And
Yeah.
so like that means that the AL is just the most competitive this year. I mean, it probably is. I don't really know. I think the West is also very competitive though. I mean, or did I mess that up? Did I mess that up? I might have messed that up. I think I messed that up. I think it's opposite. I think it's West that had the top 7 out of 9. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, because I mean, you've got the Dodgers, you have, St. Louis, you've got Atlanta in there. I mean, you've got all these teams, and
The
they
Giants.
could all make a claim for that top spot. I mean, the Padres, like I said, yeah. I mean, there's so much talent. San Diego is there. I mean, there's just so much talent there in the West or the National League. Sorry. Um, so yeah, it's just crazy. I guess I just didn't give AL the thought that it took to say that Yankees are going to be there, because I'm pretty sure the Yankees were like second or third in the power rankings that I saw. It just makes sense.
I feel like there's only like a couple AL teams that you can really look at and say, yeah, I think they're gonna have crazy season.
Right, right. Because there's not
And
many who are like
honestly,
actually stacked.
that's what I mean. And honestly, Boston, Yankees, and Toronto are and Houston
Hmm.
are like the only ones that really come to my mind.
Right, right. Houston won it all last year, obviously,
Which
and
I mean,
so I mean they
there's
could do
always
that
there's
again.
always some there's always some kind of allegation that comes from Houston though.
There is.
There's always it was always interesting.
Yeah, that's
So, to
very
say the
true. Bunch of cheaters. Um, yeah. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, with the rule change, see how that impacts the top teams. I don't think it really will, since it's league wide, obviously, and I mean they have great pitching. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see the Padres this year, even though I don't like them. I'm just they're going to be good. They're going to be good, and I mean they have the money to get anyone they want. They've been spending money like crazy, and people are even wondering like, do they even have the cash to make these checks clear? People are insinuating things about the owner of San Diego, saying that he's just printing money that he can't cash.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because there's reported that they want Shohei Ohtani next year after he leaves the Angels. If they get Shohei, I'm sorry, like you're throwing out too much money. You're throwing out too much. Where is it? I'm gonna audit you. You know, um, yeah. So it's just crazy. If the Padres continue to spend at this rate, I mean, like the owner's grandkids might be in trouble for their allowance money. Um, yeah, but that's really all I have for the MLB this go around. Yeah, as spring training comes to a close, see if there's any more interesting things that happen with the pitch clock, or any tips that people pick up, any tricks that they pick up to combat the pitchers having all the power. See if stealing might throw off pitchers more. That could be possible with the bigger bases and the time limit that they have. Maybe steals are the thing that throw off pitchers. Who knows? Um, it's an exciting time for baseball and spring training for once. Spring training is just kind of, it's there, but now it's kind of interesting with all these rule changes. So.